everybody, it's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from Reclined, here with a delightfully sleepy dog and a slightly annoying bird, so that we can all enjoy some yin yoga together. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes, but if you're here early, take the time to maybe light a candle, bribe your pets, turn off the alerts on your computer, so that you can truly relax and enjoy yourself for today's yin yoga practice. If turning on music, some nice quiet music is an opportunity for you, something that you won't find too distracting, I encourage you to go for it and then gather as many props as you need for today's class. I do recommend, if you're feeling really tight in the back of the legs for our future hamstring stretch, that perhaps you bring a strap along with you and setting yourself up for success by creating a loop at the end of the strap, or just having a towel or a long sleeve shirt nearby so that you can extend that leg up towards the ceiling and relax your upper body. Would be a mindful move. We're going to get started in Sukhasana, in the easy seated position of your choice in just a few minutes. If sitting on the floor is really uncomfortable for you and you don't have a block, maybe try starting class relaxing on the cushions of your couch. Just a deep thought. All right, a couple minutes before we get started. Look forward to seeing you on your mat. Just checking on the internet here. Get a little more cozy dog in that frame. That's nice. That's soothing. All right. So make sure you're wearing something comfortable for today's class. Make any adjustments to your clothing or costume as needed. Consider having water nearby. There won't really be a specific water break for today's class. However, if you need some, have some there. We got 1 minute till we get started, so if you've made your way to your mat already, maybe give yourself the stretches that you notice your body needs. A couple more seconds and any sort of personal stretch that honors you. Oh, sitting still for a minute. I thought the feed froze again. It's not been a good week for Facebook. I've noticed it's not been the best week for Teams either. Let's be real. Hopefully y'all can see me pretty okay, and thankfully this class does invite a lot of stillness, so should the feed go out, just hang out where you are. Hopefully things will start working again soon. All right, so we're going to start right now in Sukhasana, in an easy seated position of your choice. If sitting cross-legged as I am is not comfortable for you, you can always separate those legs out. Honestly, feeling a little tight today, so I'm gonna sit myself up on a block because I'd rather relax and focus on my breath and the places that do feel good than sit here and focus on the uncomfortable spots. So start to slow your breath down. Find a little length through your spine, through the crown of your head. So a long spine, an open heart, a relaxed shoulder and back. We're just gonna spend 1 minute here in Sukhasana, just preparing ourselves mentally for today's practice. Just gonna check the computer real fast because I see that the feed is frozen. So if I need to restart, I would much rather restart. I'm just gonna keep going, and I'm gonna presume that it's my internet and not Facebook. All right, so next up we're gonna transition from your easy seated position, which remember, can be on the couch too. I'm gonna ask you to bend your knees, and we're gonna place our elbows on our knees, so you can stay up on your prop if you want to. I'm gonna lift myself up because that makes it so much easier. So bring my elbows to my knees, and next we're going to do Hummingbird Breath. So removing glasses, we're using Hummingbird Breath to just close up some of the openings of our body so we can focus more on what's happening inside of ourselves. So do the best you can to not just collapse down here. We're still working to have that lifted heart and chest. If your hands aren't relaxing on your knees, that's totally okay. We're going to use our thumbs to gently press in those little folds of your ears, or just plug them up to give yourself some silence, and your hands are going to cover your face. I'm feeling tight, so I'm going to just lift myself up. I'm going to give myself the grace of not worrying what's happening with my legs. So I can have that lift of the heart, and here I want you to slow your breath down. On your exhale, even focus on creating a little bit of a humming sensation. So a gentle om, as loud or quiet as feels good for you. And even experiment with changing the pitch of your hum. So see how your body feels or reacts if you hum at a very high frequency, and see how your body feels and reacts if you hum at a very low frequency. While you're slowing down that exhale, make sure you're not rushing your inhale either. You're gonna readjust. We're gonna hang out here for 3 more minutes. Use that exhale, find that hum. Last 2 breaths right here. Keep them slow. Enjoy that hum, the reverberation of it inside your head, especially as you have the little flaps of your ears closed. Can you lift your chest and heart a little bit more? Find length through your spine one last time here. And on your next exhale, carefully release your hands down. And see if you can keep your breath as slow and quiet. Hummingbird breath is meant to help those of us who might be feeling a little stressed or anxious to really tune out everything else that's going on. As you could hear with your ear flaps closed, really magnified the sound of your breath and the sound of your humming sensation, and it made it challenging to think about anything else. All right, so from here we're gonna go into Revolved easy pose. You're welcome to stay lifted if you want, so staying in our easy seated position. I want you to just twist as much as feels right for you to one side. See if you can find a little rotation in the shoulders, but try not to collapse the shoulders, still keeping that lift of the chest and heart. And again, this is something that you can do sitting on your couch or in a chair if sitting down on the floor is just not feeling right for you today. We're hanging out here for 2 minutes on this side and then 2 minutes on the other. Feel free to use that backhand on the floor to help you keep that chest lifted. And don't forget to find a little twist with your neck, with your chin, but nothing so deep that you're limiting your breath because you're pinching so much. And while we're not really humming anymore, you're welcome to find your Ujjayi breathing, a slight constriction of the throat when you press the tongue up to the roof of the mouth. It creates a slight snoring sensation. So just a quieter version of your hum. 1 minute left right here. Take your time and carefully untwist, maybe even take a moment as you pass through center to readjust your body, to work out any kinks that you might have noticed, and then carefully come into your twist on the opposite side. Doesn't need to be as deep, or maybe it's a little bit deeper, just depending on how your body feels today. Can you still keep that chest open and lift through your spine? Anytime you find a spine twist, definitely make sure you're finding that lifted length first and then find your rotation. Remember here, if your eyes are moving, your mind is moving, so find one spot to focus your eyes. And if focusing on that spot is giving you any stress, just close your eyes and be here with your breath in the moment, in the asana that you have created that feels good today. And once again, take your time on your exhale. Carefully bring yourself back forward. Maybe shake out any tension that you feel. Oh, we're gonna really relax those lower backs and come on into child's pose. So transition onto your knees. You can open them nice and wide if you would like to. Send your hips back towards your heels. We're gonna find 3 different stretches in our child's pose. First, I'm just gonna tuck my shirt into my pants like a winner. But if you're home alone, allow that shirt to rise. Embrace the body that you have today. Love it. Either for what it looks like or the more important aspect, what it can do for you, and appreciate whatever stretch you find. If it's too much for you to have your arms extended all the way forward, take a generous bend of those elbows. Starting to bring a stretch to the side of the body again. Keep sending your glutes back towards your heels and walk your hands carefully over to one side as much as feels good for you. Ooh, press a little through that hip. Find more of a stretch from your hip through your shoulder into that tricep, into the bicep. Then carefully walk yourself through center and find the counter stretch on the opposite side. Walk yourself back through center one more time. You can pull yourself up into tabletop. You can give yourself some extra wiggles. Relieve that stress. Next, we're coming into deer pose. So bringing both those legs to 90-90. I'm just going to bring one leg in front in a staggered stance and then relax my glutes towards the floor. Your version of deer pose can look however you want it to today. You can keep these legs nice and wide. You can focus on getting a little stretch through the side of the body, bringing your hands to the floor, finding some length. You can get a little more into that quad by bringing that back heel, oh wow, closer to your glute. Or maybe you just sit yourself straight up. Find something that you can hang out in, because we're gonna be here for the next 2.5 minutes. So feel free to place those hands on the floor. Make sure you're not collapsing into those shoulders. It's okay to find some rounding, but try not to collapse. This is another great opportunity to find that length into that lower back as you gently stretch your back leg glute towards the mat. So remember here that the intention of our practice is creating stillness. So if you find that you're fidgeting a lot, what can you do about that? Number one is simply to notice. Number two is to have some grace for yourself. Some days it is harder than others to stay still, depending on how you feel physically and also how you feel mentally. And just doing your best is always enough. So bring your best to today's practice. Feel free to gently come out a little of a posture. use those props to help you find something sustainable for yourself. And know that the more time that you put into creating the stillness, the easier it will be in the end. I know you might see me during this class and be like, wow, Jessica is really good at just like sitting around. And I promise you, I'm terrible at just sitting around. I cannot stop moving and fidgeting unless I'm doing yoga. It's a whole nother opportunity to change your mental channel, to find that stillness, to feel good, to bring that quiet to your mind, body, and soul. All right, we're gently gonna pass our way through to the other side. If it feels good to you, to take a windshield wiping of those legs. If you're feeling really tense, you windshield wipe those legs. And if you're ready to come right into your deer pose, in the opposite side, come on into the woods. So instead of being deer that are frolicking, think about being a little bit more of the deer in headlights here. That's what we're going for with deer pose. I think I perfected it in our most recent badge photos, where I definitely look terrified. All right, giving out our final bit of reminders for class so that moving forward we can just be silent and breathe and in the posture. Remember, you're creating a stretch that should feel noticeable. So this might not be entirely comfortable for you, but it is not painful. If you find that you're feeling pain or that the stretch is so intense, as mentioned earlier, that you are limiting your breath, come out of the posture and find a place where you feel like you can still breathe and where you can hang out, because we're here for another minute and a half. Each time you get into a posture, and midway through, as frequently as you need to, scan that body from head to toe. Ask yourself where you might be able to relieve some tension. What might you be squeezing that doesn't need to be engaged to still create the stretch, to relax your mind, finding that opening in the hips right now. Hips and glutes. Or you brought that lower back stretch to the party too. All right, let's carefully bring those hands behind us. You can windshield wipe those legs again. We're gonna bring the soles of the feet together, open those knees nice and wide, and come into a butterfly. Your choice of how close you have your heels to the center line of your body. If you're looking for more of a relaxation or a stretch to that lower back again, bringing those legs forward more into a diamond shape as opposed to those butterfly wings. Also, if your hips are really tight and the outside of your knees are nowhere near the floor, consider bringing a prop to the party to support yourself so you can relax in the stretch. And if it's easy for you to open those legs, taking a slight forward hinge can help. We're only here for 1 minute. If you folded yourself forward, use your breath to lift yourself up. Extend those legs out in front of you. Take a moment. Bob your feet, windshield. Wipe your knees, shake those shoulders out. Next up, we've got half lotus with a forward fold. I'll stay facing you so you can see what happens with my legs. Now, depending on how open you are, you might find yourself just working to bring one sole of the foot towards the thigh. And if you're a little bit more flexible, actually bringing the sole of the foot towards your hip crease. Maybe you even place a block underneath of your leg to help take away any pain that you might be feeling in the stretch, because this is a big one. And it's in. All right, and then from here, if it feels in your wheelhouse, we're gonna take a gentle forward fold. After you've found some length in your forward fold, you're welcome to round into it. If you folded forward, take your time, move with intention, lift yourself up. Let's switch those legs. Do whatever feels right for this side of the body. Remember, it doesn't have to look the same on both sides. Either bringing the sole of the foot towards your inner thigh. Maybe it doesn't even come close towards your inner thigh. Maybe it's closer towards your calf. Maybe you can bring it all the way towards your hip. That doesn't feel right for me on this side. Just make sure you're not applying any pressure onto the knee joint itself. And once you've found that length in your spine, going forward, you can always round yourself down if it feels right. We got just over a minute here, and then we get to lay down on our backs. We got a big hamstring stretch coming up in a minute. So if you're feeling like you have to have your toe flexed towards your face, if that's too much on the back of the leg, you don't have to have your toe flexed towards your face. You can have your toes falling towards the wall in front of you. It's going to keep the focus a little bit more on that low back stretch, on the opening of the other side, as opposed to your straightened leg. Okay, carefully lift yourself up, make your way onto your back, and make sure you have that strap nearby if you'd like to use it. In fact, before you even sit down, if you want, you can put that strap on whichever foot makes you happy to get started with. Yay! All the way down on the floor. Adjust your body, maybe roll a little right and left. Take a moment, bend your knees, and really glue that lower back down on the mat. So notice if you had a big arch of that back, and take a tuck of that pelvis. Take a draw in of your belly to find some support. We're going to keep one leg bent, at least to begin with, and then send the opposite leg up towards the ceiling. Find the stretch on the back of the leg that feels right for you, someplace that you can hang out And if you want, you can experiment with walking your other foot away, maybe even extending your leg completely. If you have the space, which will just intensify the stretch a little bit. If that feels too much for you, bring that bend back towards your knee, and that's going to help you keep that lower back down on the mat as well. 2 minutes right here. All right, we're going to keep the strap on our leg, so don't worry about that for right now. You might find it comes in handy in just a moment. Let's go ahead and come into a reclined figure 4 stretch. So once again, you have the option to keep that lower leg on the floor. Maybe you walk it in a little bit closer as you really start to stretch that back knee behind you. Maybe you lift that lower leg up. You can even use the strap to help you draw your opposite thigh towards your chest. So 2 different options right here in this posture is either just hanging out in this reclined half pigeon figure 4 stretch, or we talked about this if you joined me in class the other day, you can reach towards your opposite foot, maybe even using the strap wrapped around your opposite foot to try and get a little bit of double pigeon of stacking those 2 shins on top of the other. I promise you my shins are not actually touching right now. I'm feeling really tight today, but we're just doing the best that our bodies can. We're going to hang out here for 1 more full minute. Find your stillness, find your breath. You can do it. Remember, shaking and trembling in this class is normal. Make sure that that lower back is still flush with the mat, though, that you didn't come into a stretch that's making you arch that lower back. And if so, release just a little bit to find that support and stability. Carefully release. We're coming into a spine twist. If you want to separate your legs, you can, or you can go for a rooted spine twist and keep this top leg crossed. Open your arms out to the side, press into the foot that's on the floor, roll over onto your hips, and then to the opposite side. If you are enjoying the extra deep twist through your top leg and that upper back with your legs crossed, keep enjoying it. And if it feels like too much, you can go ahead and separate those legs out even from right here. No prejudgment though for what happens on the other side. Feel free to try whichever sounds right for you, because remember, both sides of the body are not the same. And we'll spend 2 minutes here in our spine twist. You're worth it. Let's roll over onto our backs once again. Draw those knees in towards your chest. Let's switch the strap. The foot that we have the strap on. Okay. And then you can take a moment with knees to chest, maybe rock gently side to side. Maybe draw one knee a little closer towards your chest and extend the other leg out. And then as you're ready, release your opposite foot to the floor. Glue that lower back down towards the mat. And let's find our hamstring stretch on the other side. Remember, you can walk this opposite leg away. Make sure that lower back stays down on the floor for support though. Keep breathing. You've got a little over a minute left here. As we're closing out class today, we're just finishing the same postures on this side that we did a moment ago on the other side. I want you to bring a little attention to what's happening with your face right now. What kind of tension are you bringing to your eyes, to your forehead, to your mouth, your jaw, and even your neck? If someone were in the room with you and they saw you during practice, would you look relaxed and comfortable? Would you look tense and stressed? And I want you to ask yourself if it's possible to bring a little relaxation and neutrality to your face. If you want to bring a smile to your face, you're welcome to do that as well. But I am not telling you that you have to smile here. I'm just asking you if you can try to avoid the common miserable yoga face that I know I tend to get when I'm really focusing on creating a stretch and in the posture. Let's go ahead, cross that leg and come into our figure four stretch. So remember, you can stay right here, just stretching that knee away from you. You can lift that leg up and use your strap to help you to draw that knee in. Maybe you use your strap to help you bring your opposite foot closer in more of a double pigeon thing. This side's feeling real tight, so I'm just going to stay here in my thread the needle stretch, and I'm going to take away that tense, unhappy yoga stretch face that I know I brought to the party. We got 1 minute left right here before we come into that nice long spine twist. Keep that lower back down on the mat by keeping those abs gently engaged. Carefully release your one leg down towards the floor. Remember, you can keep those legs crossed. You can uncross your legs if you want to. I'm going to go for an uncrossing. Stretch those arms out to the side. And let's come into our spinal twist on the opposite side. Just a little over 2 minutes right here, and then we'll roll onto our backs and find our final Savasana. Carefully roll onto your back. And we'll come into our final Savasana, which you can customize to be as personal as you want to. So maybe your final Savasana allows you to keep these knees bent. Maybe you walk them a little further away. Maybe you use a prop under the back of your legs. Maybe you open them a little bit wider, or bring your heels together and knees out to the side for a little bit more of a stretch of those inner thighs. I just request and suggest that you come into one last posture on your backs with complete stillness. Find what works for you. Fidget for a couple seconds if you want to, and we're going to spend the next 3 minutes not moving a muscle. Only thing that's moving is our bellies as our diaphragm expands and contracts, and then any involuntary twitches that might happen as your body soaks in today's practice. Perhaps coming back to some ujjayi breathing, that slight constriction of the throat. Last chances here to scan your body from head to toe and toe to head, and just notice where you might be able to relax a little bit more. You are welcome and encouraged to stay down here in this final Savasana for as long as feels good for your body. We've made an amazing almost 3 minutes together right here, right now. And we'll close out practice down here on the floor just to give you those good vibes to stay here a little bit longer. You enjoyed some delightful inversions with those legs today, helping to drain the lymph down towards your heart. Remember, all those postures with legs up towards the ceiling are so great for calming, especially before bed. And we started with that awesome Hummingbird Breath so that we could really relax and release, get rid of anxiety, stress, and tension, and inwardly focus on ourselves. If it feels right for you, bring your hands palms to the center of your chest with your thumbs touching on your sternum in Namaskar, or find any hand mudra that feels right. I thank you so much for coming and joining me today. Know that the light within me honors season is so incredibly thankful for the light within you. Till we are together again, take the time to think good thoughts, to speak good words, to eat good foods, to do good deeds, to nourish yourself from the inside and out, because you are worth it every day, every meal, every moment. is a choice, so I hope that you will choose to be good to yourself. Have a wonderful rest of your day, whenever it is that you have tuned in to join me here. Namaste.